What's up everybody, this is a podcast for Adaptations for Nutrition for the WJEC AS Biology syllabus. It is everything you need to know for that topic. Quite a long podcast, so brace yourselves. If you haven't listened to any of my podcasts before, I usually suggest that you write notes along with the podcast so that you actually learn some of it and it doesn't just go straight over your head. But my exam's actually tomorrow. I don't know about you, so it might be too late to do that now, but this is still perfect just to listen to right before your exam, just for like last minute revision. Anyway, good luck with all your exams. Thank you. Bye. Adaptations for nutrition. Nutrition is the process which animals obtain nutrients to provide energy to maintain life functions and matter to create and maintain structure. Organisms have evolved a number of different methods to obtain nutrients. Methods of nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophs are living organisms that make their own food. They provide food for all different forms, so are also known as producers. There are two types of autotrophic feeding. Number one is photosynthesis. Green plants build up complex organic molecules such as sugars, carbon dioxide and water. It is the source of energy for this process comes from the sunlight, which is absorbed by chlorophyll and related pigments. Algae and certain types of bacteria can photosynthesize using energy from sunlight. The second type of autotrophic feeding is chemosynthesis. This is carried out by autotrophic bacteria. They use energy derived by special methods of respiration to synthesize organic food. Heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophs cannot make their own food. They have to consume organic complex food material produced by autotrophs. They are also known as consumers as they consume ready-made food. All consumers are dependent on producers for food. Examples of heterotrophs are animals, fungi, some types of bacteria and some types of prototists. Different types of heterotrophic nutrition. Number one, Holozoic Feeders. These include nearly all animals. They take their food into their bodies and break it down by digestion. They have a specialised digestive system. Digestive materials are then absorbed into the body tissue and absorbed by cells. Herbivores are plant eaters, carnivores eat other animals, and detrivores eat dead and decaying material. The second type of heterotrophic feeding is Saprohytes, also known as saprobiants, I guess. An example of these are all fungi and some bacteria. They feed on dead and decaying material and do not have a specialised digestive system. They feed by secreting enzymes such as proteases, amylase, lipases and cellulases. I don't know. They secrete these enzymes onto the food material outside the body and then absorb the soluble products across a cell membrane by diffusion. This is called extracellular digestion. Microscopic saprophytes are called decomposers and their activities are important on the decomposition of leaf litter and the recycling of valuable nutrients such as nitrogen. The third type of heterotrophic feeding is parasites. These are organisms that feed on other organisms referred to as the host. Some live on the body of the host and some live inside. The host always suffers harm to a degree and often death. Parasites are considered to be highly specialised and show considerable adaptations to their way of life. Examples are the tapeworm, the potato blight, which is caused by fungus, and Plasmodium spp, which is a malaria parasite. The fourth type of hydrotrophic feeding is mutualism, also known as symbiosis. This involves association between members in two different species, but both derive benefit. For example, digestion of cellulose by microorganisms in the gut of a herbivore. Cows and sheep mainly feed on grass. A high proportion of this is made of cellular cell walls. Cows and sheep do not secrete the enzyme cellulase and so cannot digest cellulose. Instead, they have a mutualistic bacteria which live in the rumen, or the stomach, whatever you want to call it, and produce the enzyme for them. In return, the bacteria gain other digestive products and suitable growth conditions. Processing food in the digestive system. Organic molecules must be broken down by digestion and absorbed into the body tissues from the digestive system before utilisation in the body cells. The gut. Got a bit bored here, so I decided to add in a diagram. You could try drawing it, but it doesn't look fun. This is where digestion and absorption takes place. It is long, hollow and muscular. It's organised to allow movement of its contents in one direction only. Simple organisms have a gut that is undifferentiated. More advanced organisms have a gut that is differentiated and divided into parts. Each part is specialised to carry out a particular function in the process of mechanical digestion and absorption, or chemical digestion. The food is processed as it's passed along the various parts of the gut. It is propelled along the gut by peristalsis. This is waves of muscular contraction. Digestion starts as ingestion, which is through the mouth, and taking in the food into the body through the mouth. It then goes on to digestion, which takes place in the stomach and the small intestine. This is the breakdown of large insoluble food molecules into simple soluble molecules by the means of enzymes. The chemical action of digestion is a secretion of digestive enzymes, and the mechanical action of digestion is the cutting and crushing of the teeth and rhythmical contractions of the gut. The gut wall, particularly the stomach, has layers of muscles to fulfill this function. These are responsible for the mixing of food as it pushes it along the gut. Physical action of digestion increases the surface area in which enzymes can act. The third part of digestion is absorption. This occurs in the small intestine. The passage of digested food through the gut wall into the blood. And the final and fourth part of digestion is egestion. This happens in the anus. Okay, I'm going to say bum because I feel like a tit saying anus. Okay. This is elimination from the body of food that cannot be digested, such as cellular cell walls. The human digestive system. Through its length from mouth to bum, contains 4 tissue layers surrounding a lumen of the gut. The outer serosa, which is layers of tough connective tissue, protects the wall of the gut and reduces friction from other organs in the abdomen as the gut moves during digestive process. The inner circular muscle and outer longitudinal muscle. This causes waves of muscular contraction, peristalsis, which propels food along the gut. Behind the ball of food, the circular muscle contract and longitudinal muscles relax, thus moving the food along. Submucosa. This is connective tissue containing blood. It also contains lymph vessels to take away absorbed food products. It contains nerves that coordinate the muscular contraction involved in the process of peristalsis. And the final layer of the gut is the mucosa, which is the innermost layer. This lines the wall of the gut and secretes mucus, which lubricates and protects mucosa. In some regions, this layer secretes digestive juices. In others, it absorbs digestive foods. Digestion. Absorption of nutrients by the gut epithelial cells is only possible if carbs, fats and proteins, otherwise known as large molecules, are broken down or digested by enzymes. Different enzymes are required to carry out digestion of different food substrates, and usually more than one type of enzyme is needed for the complete digestion of food. Carbohydrates, known as starch, is broken down by amylase into disaccharides, known as maltose, which is then broken down by maltase into monosaccharides, known as glucose. So that's the process in which carbohydrates break down into monosaccharides. The process of proteins breaking down into amino acids is that proteins break down into polypeptides, polypeptides break down into dipeptides, and dipeptides break down into amino acids. Endopeptidases hydrolyze the peptide bonds within the protein molecule. The exopeptidases hydrolyze peptide bonds at the ends of these shorter peptide bonds. These are required because the protein molecule is such a large molecule. Fats are broken down into glycerol. The process of this is that fats are broken down into fatty acids and then glycerol. The only enzyme used is lipase. Regional specialisations of the mammalian gut. The mouth. Mechanical digestion begins in the mouth when food is chewed using the teeth. Food is mixed with saliva from salivary glands. Saliva. This is a watery secretion and contains mucus, salivary amylase, mineral ions, which helps keep the pH in the mouth slightly alkaline. It is important for lubricating food before it is swallowed. The amylase in the saliva breaks down starch to maltose. The ball of food is then swallowed and the mucus lubricates it, passed down the esophagus. The stomach. Food enters the stomach and is kept there by the contraction of two rings, one at the stomach entrance and one at the stomach of the duodenum. Food can stay in the stomach for up to 4 hours. Stomach muscles will contract rhythmically and mix food up with the gastric juice secreted by glands in the stomach wall. Gastric juice. This contains acid and gives stomach a contents of pH of 2, the optimum pH for enzymes. It also kills most bacteria in food. Mucus. This is important in forming a lining to protect the stomach wall from the enzyme and acid. It also assists in the movement within the stomach. The small intestine. This is divided into the duodenum and the ileum. The duodenum is at the beginning of the small intestine and it makes up the first 20 centimetres. The relaxation of the muscle at the base of the stomach allows small amounts of partially digested food in a little at a time. It also receives secretions from the liver and the pancreas. The walls of the duodenum contain glands that secrete an alkaline juice and mucus. The alkaline juice is important as it keeps the contents of the small intestine at the correct pH for enzyme action. The mucus lubricates and protects. The ileum, which comes after the duodenum, is used for absorption. Ileum is well adapted because it is very long. The lining is folded to give large surface area compared to smooth. On the surface of the villi on the ileum are epithelial cells with microscopic projections called microvilli, which also increase surface area. Epithelial cells also contain mitochondria for energy, as energy is required for active transport. For example, glucose and amino acids are absorbed across the epithelial cells of the villi by a combination of diffusion and active transport. They pass into the capillary network that supplies each villus. As carbs are being digested continuously, there is normally a greater concentration of glucose within the small intestine than in the blood. Therefore, glucose can diffuse out of the blood down a concentration gradient. Into the blood down a concentration gradient. Glucose is needed for respiration as it is continually being transported in the blood cells. Diffusion is a slow process that not all available glucose can be absorbed this way and so passed into the body. However, all glucose is passed into the body because it can also be transported by active transport. So that's why the epithelial cells contain mitochondria for the active transport. Fatty acids and glycerol. These are passed into the lacteal. The lacteal is blindly ending lymph capillary found in the centre of each villi. They are transported in the lymphatic system, which ultimately opens into the bloodstream of the thoracic duct. Sorry, I completely missed this bit out and I only just realised when reading through it, so I'm going to quickly add it in now because it's easier for me to edit. What it basically is the duodenum receives secretions from the liver and the pancreas, and I forgot to mention that earlier. And it's all about the bile and the pancreatic juice, but yeah, cool, thanks. The duodenum receives secretions from the liver, which secretes bile. Bile is produced in the liver and stored in the gallbladder, where it passes into the duodenum via the bile duct. It contains no enzymes. Bile salts are important in emulsifying the lipids present in the blood. Emulsification of the lipids is achieved by lowering the surface tension of the lipids, causing large globules to break up into tiny droplets. This enables the action of enzyme lipases to be more efficient, as the lipid droplets now have a much larger surface area. Bile helps to neutralise the acidity of food as it comes from the stomach as well. The duodenum also receives secretions from the pancreas. This secretes pancreatic juice. This is secreted from the exocrine glands in the pancreas and enters the duodenum through the pancreatic duct. It contains a number of proteins, endopeptidases, which hydrolyze protein to polypeptides, amylase, which breaks down the remaining starch to maltose, and lipase, which hydrolyzes fatty acids and glycerol. And I just realised I said proteins and I was meant to say enzymes. This is not going well. Right, to summarise the whole process in the small intestine, fatty acids, glycerol and most vitamins pass through the epithelial cells by diffusion. Glucose, amino acids and dipeptides require energy in the form of ATP for absorption by active transport. Dipeptides digest intracellularly into small amino acids. Glucose and amino acids are then diffused from the epithelial cell in the blood. The large intestine. This is 1.5 metres long. It is divided into the it's divided into the cecum, the appendix, the colon and the rectum. The colon. Water and minerals and vitamins, which are secreted by microorganisms living in the colon, are absorbed from the colon. The microorganisms that secrete the vitamins are also responsible for making vitamin K and folic acid. The rectum. Indigestible food is in a semi-solid condition and consists of residues of undigested cellulose, bacteria, sloughed cells. This passes along the rectum and is digested by a feces process called defecation. The fate of the digested food products. With completion of digestion and absorption, the soluble food products are carried in the bloodstream to the tissue for assimilation and to provide energy. Glucose is absorbed by the body cells for energy release in respiration. Amino acids. These are absorbed by protein synthesis. Excess is not stored, so are deaminated, whereby the removed amino groups are converted to urea and the remainder to carbs and stored. Lipids. These are used for membranes, used for hormones, and excess is stored as fat. Adaptations to different diets. Reptiles and amphibians can swallow food whole immediately. Mammals, however, their food is retained in the mouth whilst it is cut up and chewed. The palate that separates the air path, known as the nasal cavity, from the mouth, which allows food to be retained in the mouth rather than swallowed whole between breaths. In a carnivore, the gut is short, reflecting ease with which proteins are digested. However, in a herbivore, the gut is long. This reflects the difficulty of plant material being digested. There are different teeth for different functions. Dentition. Humans have 4 types of teeth: incisors, molars, canines and premolars. These are not particularly specialised as omnivores. Herbivores and carnivores' teeth are more specialised. Herbivore dentition. Plant food is a tough material and the teeth of the herbivores are needed to be modified to ensure food is thoroughly chewed up before swallowing. Grazing herbivores, such as sheep and cow. These have incisors on the lower jaw only, cuts against a horny pad on the upper jaw. Canine teeth are indistinguishable from incisors. There is a gap called diastemus which separates the front of the teeth from the side teeth. The tongue operates in this gap, moving the freshly cut up grass to the large grinding surfaces of the cheek teeth. Jaw moves in a circular grinding action in a horizontal plane. Cheek teeth interlock like the letter W fitting into the letter M. With time, grinding surfaces become more worn down, exposing the sharp edge enamel ridges, which further increases the efficiency of the grinding process. Teeth have open restricted roots so that they can continue to grow throughout the life of an animal. Carnivore dentition, for example in tigers. The teeth are adapted for catching and killing prey, cutting and crushing bones and tearing meat. The sharp incisors grip and tear flesh from the bone. The large, curved and pointed teeth for seizing prey and killing it and tearing their flesh off. That's nice. Premolars and molars are for cutting and crushing. Carnivores have a pair of specialised cheek teeth called carnassials, which slide past each other like blades of gardening shears. The jaw muscle is well developed and powerful to enable the carnivore to grip the prey firmly and help in crushing bone. There is no side-to-side movement, as this would dislocate the jaw. Vertical jaw movement is greater, allowing jaw to open widely for catching and killing prey. Ruminants. Animals produce 35% of all proteins eaten by humans. Of this, nearly half comes from ruminants such as cows and sheep, which eat mainly grass and then they forage around. A large proportion of which consists of cellular cell walls. Mutualism, also known as symbiosis, involves a class association between members of two different types of species, and whereby both organisms derive benefits from the relationship. Herbivore mammals, such as cows and sheep, lack the ability to produce cellulase enzymes, so cannot digest cellulose, which is a large proportion of plant material that they eat. Certain herbivores, such as cows, have formed an association with cellulose digesting bacteria, which live in the gut of the cow. The mammal acquires from this relationship the products of cellulose digestion, and the bacteria acquires constant supply of food and the perfect conditions to survive and grow. The region of the gut must be kept separate from the main digestive region so that the food can be kept there long enough for the bacteria to carry out digestion, and the bacteria are isolated from the mammal's own digestive system so that they are an optimum pH and will not be killed by the extreme pHs. Ruminants have a stomach which is made up of 4 chambers. 3 are derived from the lower part of the esophagus and 1 is the true stomach. Cellulose digestion takes place in 6 steps. In the textbook it says 3, but I wrote it all out and I've made it into 6. But yeah. Number 1. Grass is chopped by the teeth, mixed with saliva, and the cud formed is swallowed. Number 2. In the rumen, the first region, the cud is mixed with cellulose, digesting bacteria to produce glucose. This is fermented to form organic acids that are absorbed into the blood and provides energy for the cow. The waste products of this are methane and carbon dioxide. Cud passes to the next region before being regurgitated into the mouth and chewed again. That is disgusting. The cud passes into the third region where water is absorbed. The last region functions as a stomach and the protein is digested. Digested food passes to the next region, the small intestine, where the products of digestion are absorbed. Right, so that's that. Parasitic nutrition. Parasites are organisms that live on or in another organism, the host, and obtain nourishment at the expense of the host. It causes harm to some degree and often causes death to the host. The pork tapeworm, a parasite of the gut. Parasites have become specialised and undergo considerable evolution changes to survive in the host. The tapeworm is ribbon-like, up to 10 metres long, has a head made of muscle on which are stickers and hooks. The body consists of a linear series of 3 segments. The pork tapeworm has 2 hosts, the humans, which is infected by eating uncooked pork meat, and the pig, which becomes infected as it feeds in the drainage channels contaminated by the feces. Although the tapeworm lives on an immediate source, it needs to survive the hostile conditions, as it lives around digestive juices and mucus. The food, mixed with the digestive juices, is in constant motion as it is being propelled along the gut by parasitic contractions. It lives in extreme conditions of pH. It has to deal with the immune system of the host, and if the host dies, so does the parasite. In order to survive, the tapeworm must have a means of penetration into the host, have a means of attachment to the host, protect itself against the immune responses of the host, develop only those organs essential to survive, produce many eggs, have an immediate host, have a resistant stages to a period of a host. The tapeworm has evolved the following structural modifications to enable it to live as a parasite: suckers and double row of curved hooks for the attachment to the wall of the gut, a body covering which protects them from the host immune system and responses, a thick cuticle and the production of inhibitory substances on the surface of the segments to prevent their digestive host enzymes. Degeneration of unnecessary body organs as they live in a stable environment and do not need to move around. They have a simple excretory system and a simple nervous system. Most of the body's concerns is with reproduction. The tapeworm has a large surface area to volume ratio as it is surrounded by digestive system and pre-digested food is absorbed over the entire body surface. The gut could not accommodate 2 tapeworms, so each segment contains male and female reproductive organs. Vast number of eggs are produced with each mature egg segment containing up to 40,000 eggs, and this passes out as feces. Eggs have resistant shells and coverings, so can survive until eaten by the secondary host. Further development can take place and leave the embryos, which hatch from the eggs, move into the muscle of the pig and remain dominant until eaten. Harmful effects of the tapeworm. In adults they cause discomfort and can cause cysts in various organs and damage to surrounding tissues. The adults are usually treated by drugs, and there are public health measures and frequent inspections to check meat. Well done if you made it this far. I just wanted to make a quick point that if you did make it this far, you probably have noticed all the spelling mistakes and all the pronunciation mistakes that I make, and I just want to say that I usually do realise I make these pronunciation mistakes after I've recorded it, and then I listen to it back like, oh, that is not how you pronounce it. And then the typing mistakes is because I type it up really, really quickly because I just want to get it done so I can put it on YouTube for all you guys, so I don't read over what I've written or anything, so all those different mistakes, just brush them aside and completely ignore them. Other than that, I hope you've learned something and good luck with all your exams. Bye!